This is James Chege from Chege Ministries, and we're continuing a study in the book of Ephesians, chapter 3, verse 1. And it says, the subtitle is The Mystery Revealed. And it says, "For this reason, I, Paul, the prisoner of Jesus Christ, for you Gentiles." So I'm going to stop right there for a moment and just explain this point that Paul is putting out to the Ephesian church. "For this reason, I, Paul, the prisoner of Jesus Christ, for you Gentiles." So Paul at this time has been arrested and has been taken to Rome, which is a treacherous journey, which when you read from Acts chapter 21 all the way through, you kind of trace the exodus of the Apostle Paul all the way up to Rome to face Nero, where he was sentenced, and after that he was beheaded for the cause of Christ. He wasn't beheaded because of being an insurrectionist or being a person who is sowing discord, or a person who is saying something against the Roman Empire, but because he named the name of Christ and because he was the de facto leader or the apostle that Christ selected to give the new covenant to the church. So Paul says that he is a prisoner of Christ. So this is a form of encouragement here, that he wasn't a prisoner of Rome, or he wasn't a prisoner of the Jewish people, because when you read Acts chapter 21, and I challenge you to read it, and especially when it comes to I think verse 15 all the way down, it shows how Paul made his exodus from the Ephesian church and all the way down to Jerusalem, with many series of the warnings from Philip and his 4 virgin daughters who were prophets, from Prophet Agabus, who came over and tied his hands and feet and told him that the owner of the belt which he had used to bind the Apostle Paul hand and foot, that he would be a prisoner when he goes to Jerusalem and be handed over to the Gentiles. And they tried to dissuade the Apostle Paul, but the Apostle Paul said that I'm ready even to give my life for the cause of Christ. And finally they said, let the will of God be done. And then on we see the Apostle Paul sitting down with Timothy. I believe Timothy was journaling. Not Timothy, but yes, Timothy, and probably I believe Trophimus, and I believe the Luke the physician, documenting the whole journey of the Apostle Paul, sitting down with James, who was the leader of the church in Jerusalem, and saying that there has been talks, there has been discourse, that you have been teaching people against the law and against the Jewish rituals of circumcision. And they told him to do the rites of purification that there has been designated for people who have taken a vow of purification, and he needs to take them to the temple so that they can be purified, so that he would be in good standing with the Jews in Jerusalem, that he has not violated or broken the law, which is a big discussion of the difference between law and grace. But from that point on, he was attacked, he was beaten, and then he was handed over to the Romans. And then after that, his journey goes on all the way up to when he faced Nero. But in this first verse, it shows that he was a prisoner of Christ. He wasn't a prisoner of the Jews. He wasn't a prisoner of the Roman Empire, but he was a prisoner of Christ. He considered himself a prisoner of the Lord. So that means that in any circumstance, in any condition that we find ourselves in, whether encouraging or discouraging, we should glory in the Lord despite the situation, despite the condition that we're facing, or the challenges that we're facing, that we should consider and see ourselves being under the guidance, or being under the hedge of Christ, knowing that he will be with us, guide us, and protect us. Because throughout time, our personal lives, and also throughout the whole entire world, we have faced challenges, we have faced tremendous persecution, we have faced tremendous temptations. But through all that, we should consider ourselves being a slave, or being under the protection of Christ, despite the challenges that we face. And he says both of Christ and for the Gentiles. And this is the beautiful thing. Because of the Apostle Paul being in prison, we now have the prison epistles. We have the the book of Romans, we have the book of Ephesians, we have the book of Colossians, Philippians, Thessalonians. I mean, we have all the prison epistles that we can read right now that is a shining light to the church as we speak right now. So I'm grateful that tragedy brought forth something that I can speak about right now in 2022. A man called James Chege can speak about what the Apostle Paul has written 2,000 years ago and is still changing lives as we speak. I love you. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video.